Good morning, everybody. This is a really muggy morning out here. It's supposed to sprinkle on and off all morning, and then it's going to heat up and be really muggy. But so while I'm filming, the lens on this camera is probably going to fog up a little bit. But I'm out here, and before it starts raining and before it gets too muggy, I'm going to change the oil on a couple of mowers. Now this is distinctly for Briggs and Stratton. I mean, it can apply to a number of different mowers, but I just happen to have a couple of almost identical Craftsman with Briggs and Stratton engines on them. So I'm just going to cover really quick 3 different ways that you can change the oil depending on your preference. Alright, so I have 2 mowers here, and you can see they're almost identical. They both have the Briggs and Stratton. They're both Craftsman. They both have the Briggs and Stratton 6.75 engines in them, and they're both front-wheel drive. The only difference I can see is that this one has the small wheels and that one has the large wheels. But other than that, they're almost identical. Play with my dog while we do this. So on a Briggs and Stratton, when you take a look underneath, now if it's a regular, just a plain push mower with no front wheel drive, then you'll see the bottom of your engine there. So what this takes is a 3/8 inch drive socket wrench, and I like to put the extension on it for better clearance between the blade. And it doesn't take a socket, it's just the fixture, that 3/8 inch square. See, I've tilted it back and I've already positioned my oil pan underneath. There we go. See if you can see that. There's our oil plug. There it goes. Now when I first start, I usually leave the cap on until the oil starts flowing. There we go. With this one, you see these with front wheel drive, it has that extra plastic shroud over it, and to get to the engine, then you got to take the shroud off and the blades off. And whenever you're working anything under here with the blades, make sure you take off your spark plug, right? Disconnect it, make sure there's not going to be any spark. So you'll potentially have to take your blade off, but you will have to take off that plastic shroud to get to the drain plug. Now, if I don't want to do that, there's another way. Position this over so you can see. Another way, position your drain pan over here, and you won't need any tools. You just tilt the mower over, take off your dipstick, and let it drain out. Look at that, this one has oil coming out of the exhaust. It was probably overfilled, but you can see how I'm just gonna drain it over. And there you go. So you can see it's all just draining out. Now this is a cold engine, so the oil looks still pretty thick. But when you turn it over, just make sure you can visualize that the oil's up here. It's all leaned over. Just make sure you don't tilt it too far over, or all the oil is not going to come out. And I just let it sit there until it finishes draining. And that's about it. Whenever you drain oil like this, I think it usually takes about 16 ounces on a very dry first time you're putting oil in the engine. But after, when you're changing the oil, there's always going to be some oil residue, you know, in your gears, coating the inside of the crankcase, and you know, you'll probably only need 12 ounces, right? There could be 3 or 4 ounces still in there, so so keep that in mind when you're filling it up. So the third way is to use a pump similar to this. So I had used this one extensively on when I had a boat. There's an inboard motor, so obviously I just can't drain it out the bottom, so use something like this pump. Take off the dipstick, insert the hose, and some of these pumps will differ. Just make sure you get it all the way down to the bottom. There we go. Some of these pumps will differ. Some of them you clamp the hose, then you pump it up until there's a lot of suction. Then when you let the hose off, it'll suck all the oil out. Some of them you just put it directly in and start pumping, and as it starts to, you know, create the vacuum, then it sucks all the oil out. So that's basically it. It's very easy to do. You have 3 options. You can drain it out of the bottom. You can tilt it over, drain it out of your dipstick tube, or you can use the pump. So it's very easy. I highly recommend it to do it on a regular basis. Make sure you have enough oil and make sure you don't put too much oil in it. So that's it.